Gender-based violence is one of the social evils affecting both women and men in rural and urban areas in Uganda. Gender-based violence involves acts perpetrated against women, men, girls and boys based on their sex and gender. These acts cause physical, sexual and psychological harm to those affected, their families, the society and the state.
Yali nsonga yava ku poloti yali agala tunda poloti nze nga mugaana ati we namugaana nangamba oba ogaanyi kalebera onendowooza byakusaaga wayitawo wiikyemu nangamba nti ngenze safari sigenda komawo kololo yagenda wekyantuukirako nakya naagula asidi namunjira kati bwe yajja saategererawo nti yeyanjokya ku luli ti bwe yajja nemulabako waneno olukubo lwa asidi nangamba nange yanjokyezza. Musajja namwabira ne bamusibayo omwezi gumu ne bamuta. Kati ActionAid ne baddamu ne bagusitula era kati tukyali mu kooti.
The 2015 police crime report indicates a total of 358 women died as a result of domestic violence compared to 345 in 2014. Between 2014 and 2015, there was a 3.7% increase in the number of women dying from domestic violence. Of these deaths, 18 cases were reported in Kitgum, 16 in Amuru, 14 in Oyam, and 11 in Katakwi, among others. Gender-based violence also has a low conviction rate due to the difficulties survivors face in accessing justice and the normalization of physical violence in the Ugandan society. Out of the 358 cases of death by domestic violence reported in 2015, 222 cases were taken to court, out of which only 6 secured convictions, 1 case was dismissed, and 215 cases were still pending in court as of 2016. A total of 109 cases were still under investigation.
At the end of the year is when we get more cases. Some are not reported. Because one, the topology of the area, accessibility, then two, intimidation. One is intimidated to submission, and that if you report, you know the consequences.
Due to the worrying statistics, ActionAid Uganda, MIFUMI and Centre for Domestic Violence, with support from UKAID DFID, embarked on a 5-year program to support Uganda's response to gender equality program. The program covers areas of Gulu, Lira, Moroto, Masaka, Mbarara, Kampala, Kween, Kumi, Katakwi, Amuru, Pallisa, Nebbi and Mubende, with the main goal of strengthening efforts towards achieving equal access for women and men to opportunities and a life free of violence and ultimately gender equality.
And for us also as a ministry, we are also not sad. We have ensured that we have rolled out our economic empowerment program called Uganda Women Entrepreneurship Program to ensure that we are empowering women to have money into their pockets. And that one is actually addressing the other area where we are saying that most of these causes of violence, mostly physical, is as a result of poverty.
Kwa bedo kakarachelo medo wakude dongo bedo maber kwa winjwa de maber aloka dongo tie gimana ngebe katimi kwa maracha cheke dongo ewe ko lembita cheke dongo pe dongo bedo bar maber.
The vision for SAG is to achieve greater equality for women and other vulnerable groups in Uganda, and this will be achieved through national capacity established within Government of Uganda to lead on the integration of gender and equity in public finance management. Improved public awareness and progressive change in social norms away from gender inequality and gender-based violence. Increased access to safe spaces, shelter, legal, health, psychosocial services and economic opportunities for survivors of gender-based violence. To illustrate the urgency in dealing with gender-based violence as a violation of human rights, the police reports from 2014 to 2018 show very high numbers of women being affected by all manner of gender-based violence, as shown in the table below. The overwhelming numbers who have sought help in the 13 gender-based violence shelters are about 29,471, of which 115 were persons with disability. Through the program, 43% of women and 20% of men have sought help at the GBV shelters. A total of 693 cases were filed in court, 251 concluded, and 442 are still pending in the various courts across the 13 districts. Below is the trend across the 4 years. And output 2, which focuses on improving public awareness and progressive change in social norms, a total of 64,643 of community members were reached through the GBV shelters and are now championing progressive change in social norms in their communities. Gender-based violence affects both women and men, though the prevalence remains high among women and girls.
Anenai ara ko tarini tena kalmo gini am dar pa ini andar ara akron nukre abuye tenga akron na tamya dare un mona kera akron akron after 2 weeks alunyar paten she kilo ak awu munyayo abu roto akade she tarayo yana ina ko ara abu kokai abu odik ani apredo ba arto ka paka abu taranga kaloiti police ngina lo depo Kwesingulu na bo kwete tiete kishanga tena wa tama to kana kata chakla kagni tayo bo ya pa police maga after lo police agre statement ta katarang pepe ngangan kara na ngani after kar case statement apere police marwangare na au ne kauna mufumi anenai aka advice ngata changa to mufumi oboy ada jik first tamol days jik spend ngaya paka school.
Gender-based violence manifests in physical, emotional, psychological and economic phases. Physical violence includes hitting, punching, pushing or shoving, and holding down someone, while emotional violence included humiliation, use of threats, and insults that demean a person. These types of violence induce a state of fear, which the perpetrator uses to control the victim and deny them their full rights. Sexual gender-based violence includes acts such as rape, indecent assault, incest, and defilement of underage girls. Mary, not real names, aged 22, a resident of Gulu district, is one of the many survivors of gender-based violence.
At around 11 to 12 there midnight, I woke my cousin and said, Jackie, you first take me out for short call. Then she was like, I'm very tired. As I was passing in between the corridors, then one man came, a fat man came and caught my neck. Then the other one, there were two, but the first one who caught my neck closed my eye, both eyes, and carried me. I couldn't even shout at that time. Was squeezing me at the same time. Then the other one also came. They took me, I think somewhere in the bush, because by then I became unconscious. So I think my sisters realized that I was missing, had taken long. They started looking after me where I was. They couldn't get me. And until that morning, no one could even get me. Then there were some people who were passing by. They rushed with me to the hospital.
Cases of sexual gender-based violence remain notoriously underreported due to the stigma attached to rape. In addition, their investigation and evidence collection remains very challenging. For example, in 2017, Of the 396 cases of rape taken to court, only 6 cases secured convictions, 1 case was acquitted, 14 cases were dismissed, and 375 cases were still pending in court, while 639 cases were still under investigation. In addition, in 2017, a total of 15,325 cases of domestic violence were reported compared to 13,132 cases in 2016. Between 2016 and 2017 alone, there was 16.7% increase in the number of domestic violence cases reported.
So we need to get them tap on their best of being people. And that's what prevention should be all about. Not saying women endure the bad side of men. No, they've endured for centuries and we are trapped in all these problems. It is a wake-up call. Let us tap on the good side of men.
A team, not real names, aged 16, was working as a house help in a police officer's home. While at her place of work, a team was defiled by the very policeman employing her. Without any other job options and protections, a team continued with her work. She later realized she was pregnant. The perpetrator provided her with cash for an abortion. However, her friends advised her against it and urged her to leave the home of the perpetrator. A team escaped and reported the case to the police. Police referred a team to the ActionAid shelter where she's currently housed due to the trauma and fear from these incidents. A team is currently undergoing counseling and psychosocial support. Thanks to ActionAid, the perpetrator was arrested and remanded to Gulu main prison. Other common cases of gender-based violence cases relate to non-maintenance of families by male spouses. For example, in the period between July to September 2019, ActionAid International Uganda shelters received 196 cases of non-maintenance. It is now the highest reported type of case reported across all the 13 shelters. The second most reported cases are land cases. As of July-September 2019, a total of 113 land cases were reported to the shelters. Zuleika Nalwoga, aged 52, is among the many victims of land-related cases. She lost her lower lip in a fight she had with her co-wife over the land she bought with her husband. Thanks to MIFUMI's intervention, she now has a place she lives peacefully. Adikli Harriet is aged 58, a resident of the Sai sub-county in Kumi district, and is also a survivor of land grabbing. After the loss of her parents, she was disowned by her clan members. She later left for another village where she was first not welcomed. But after a long plea, she was given the land. Her sister later joined her, stole her land documents, and took them to her clan members. They later came to chase her off the land that she was given. Thanks to ActionAid's intervention, who are now in process of transferring back the ownership to her names. Many women in Uganda continue to face gender-based violence due to power imbalances in the household, society, and the country at large. Negative social norms continue to provide an environment where attitudes that see women and girls as property thrive. ActionAid International Uganda, in conjunction with cultural and religious leaders, have partnered to support initiatives that address these negative social norms while championing progressive social norms that protect women and girls.
Out of the trainings that we had, it also made us think of sensitizing the community, our community members, and telling them that it is an abuse. Because this is your wife, whom you have married, you have got children with them, and the both of you have got to take care of these children.
ActionAid International Uganda and MIFUMI have introduced the Women Economic Empowerment Initiative in the districts of Mubende, Gulu, Kween and Masaka, which is meant to empower women economically so that their bargaining power is improved. Through this, it is believed women's choices within the households expand, women are seen to be contributing and less of a burden, thus affecting the prevalence of gender-based violence. In summary, the SURGE program then adopts a four-pronged approach to gender-based violence.
One of those was GBV response, looking at building community awareness, mobilization, and ensuring that GBV does not occur at all. That is the ideal that we would require completely. The second issue was around a response to GBV, to ensure that where GBV occurs, then we are able to respond. And this is where the 13 shelters and the referral system supports in as far as responding to cases that are reported on GBV are concerned. The third component was around gender equity budgeting, looking at government institutions allocating resources to gender equality issues. Those could be either financing in the police, financing around probation and gender offices, work around child and family protection units of police, and general community policing in the community. And the fourth one is around women's economic empowerment, to ensure that families have economic muscle and are able to support themselves through the kind of livelihood options that they may want to have.
DFID through the SURGE program has supported 82,683 women and girls by supporting to create violence-free homes, communities and country, through identifying and piloting safe spaces like shelters and strengthening the referral pathway. ActionAid Uganda, MIFUMI and CEDOVIP, with support of UKAID DFID and the Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development, continue to play a notable role in addressing gender-based violence in the 13 districts of Uganda. However, there are still challenges that need to be addressed.
Challenges are still many. Like the police has reported that there is increase in the number and the gruesome way that gender-based violence is happening. There is also a shift from the physical violence to psychological violence, which you can hardly trace. And this is even more dangerous because its impact are not easily traceable and you cannot try in court. So we find that there is a need to still address the issues of the number of people who can actually follow up on these very many cases, because we need to see not only the 13 shelters operational, we even want to see that those shelters are increased in number to reach all the over 130 districts.